morning, everyone, and welcome to your Week 2 Monday Morning Breakfast Bite. This week, we are going to be talking about intellectual property and jurisdiction in cyberspace, two very important topics. But before we get started, you have your team building exercise due this week, and you also have your Week 2 discussion, of course, your first post by Thursday, your second post by Sunday, and your second post you respond to another student. And then you also have quiz 1, so get that on your radar and be prepared to take that. It's just 10 questions, multiple choice, true and false, open book, open note, all the tests are. But you still do need to pay attention to the materials. Now, the team building exercise. The team building exercise, it's an opportunity for everybody on the team, and I will be assigning teams this morning, it's Monday, for everyone to take a look at their strengths and their challenges, or what we might call a weakness, because we all bring strengths and weaknesses to every situation, and depending on the situation, we may have a strength that is obvious in one situation and a different strength in another situation. So it depends. So I want you to think about that, because everything is going to be involved, everything with regard to the team project and any assignments in this task in this class is going to involve some element of research and definitely an element of writing. So there may be people on your team that are better at research, better at organizational skills, better at editing, better at writing. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that one person is going to be assigned to just do the editing, because editing would also involve checking the research and making sure that, in fact, that research is valid and it says what the team member is indicating that it says. Now, everyone should be writing, everybody should be doing some element of research with regard to the team project. But when you're dividing the task, I want you to think about overall what you are looking at as far as those strengths and weaknesses, and everybody should have one strength listed for the overall team assignments. Now, the team captain will be responsible for submitting the team building exercise on behalf of the team, and the team captain will be the one that in fact submits every project deliverable on behalf of the team. If for some reason though the team captain is unable to do so, then please, I would hope that you all would amongst yourself decide who's going to step in and submit that project on behalf of the whole entire team. Also, every team deliverable should have a title page, and that title page should list the team number and the name of each contributing team member. And that term contributing is a very important term, because if in fact somebody is not contributing to a particular deliverable, their name doesn't go on that deliverable, but it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be involved in a different deliverable. So your first deliverable, which will be due next week, is going to be a hypothetical scenario that you and your team are going to create. Hypothetical scenario is a fictitious situation that you create, and it is based on information that we obtain during our profession, during our personal lives, during our class technology that you're looking at, and also during things that we learn from news and reading the cases. It cannot be based on any one particular situation, but is something that you and your team create. And I love this part of the class because it is so interesting to see the creativity among the team members and what they can come up with. So, with that said, start looking ahead to that for next week. You're going to work on it, but that's not actually due until next week. I'm going to go ahead and have an online WebEx meeting either this weekend or early next week, so that I can make sure all of you understand what's expected with regard to the team fact scenario and developing that, and also any questions you may have about the further team deliverables that we're going to have in the class, as well as possibly the individual term project that you'll be responsible for. WebEx online meetings, as you know, are just a way for us to connect as if we're in a face-to-face class. So any questions that you have, write them down so you have an opportunity to ask them at that time. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and just take a quick look at the materials this week. Remember, we have a PowerPoint, and you do want to go ahead and pull up that PowerPoint so that you can see the information that's included in it, because that is testable information as well as the supplemental materials. Jurisdiction is a huge issue in cyberspace, and a very important issue, because when we talk about jurisdiction, we talk about the court's ability to hear and rule on a case, because a court has to have jurisdiction not only over what we call the subject matter of the case, which is what the case is about, but also over the defendants in the case. Because if in fact the court cannot exercise jurisdiction over the defendants in the case, that's called personal jurisdiction, then the court can't hear and rule on the case, even though it may have subject matter jurisdiction because the subject is within the purview of the court. So be aware of that. Understand how jurisdiction is determined when we talk about online commerce, e-commerce. So with that said, intellectual property, we're going to be talking about patents, trademarks, copyrights, and then trade secrets. We're going to start with a certain element of intellectual property. Pay attention to that, because when we talk about intellectual property, we're talking about intangible rights, something that you can't necessarily feel or touch, but it's a right that's there. It's not like tangible personal property like this, or tangible real property, which is, you know, the soil, the building, and those things. Intangible property refers to the things that you can't really see, feel, and touch, but we know that it's there. So if you have questions, of course, don't hesitate to contact me. Email is the best, but we can always set up a Skype or an online WebEx. I hope you all have an awesome week 2, and don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have.